morning. We're just so grateful that we can gather as a great town. Father, you've called each one of us here, both as citizens and people who live and also people who serve on this board for this time, Lord, to better this city. And Father, we all want to make Fairhope and this area the best place, not only in Alabama, but in this country. And so, Father, I pray that we will continue to move forward, give us wisdom, help us to have unity, let your name be glorified through it all, and we give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Martin. Council, we have a few items to add to the agenda and amend the agenda a little bit. We discussed in the agenda meeting, item 19. I would ask that item 19, and we can make this all in one motion if you like, or not. You can break it up into individual motions if you so desire. Item 19, as you see it presented, which was to award the bids for the printing of the calendar, I would ask, and staff ask, that that be removed and a new resolution that we rebid this with a different scope of work to be printed. It was supposed to be bid for bi-monthly, and it was bid monthly at 2,000 copies, and staff would like to, and the mayor would like to rebid this with 5,000 copies to be done, to be printed bi-monthly. Did I get that right? Okay. So that's the first item. The second item that's asked to be put on the agenda tonight is that the City of Fairhope did request bids for the installation of the seasonal supplemental LED lighting. This would be the Christmas lights that go up on the trees downtown. It said no bids were received on this, and so obviously we would rescind the bids, which no one received, and also authorize to rebid. Council, I would, that's very easily done, but I would like to get some feedback as to whether or not we want to rebid this. There was some talk of maybe having some volunteers, maybe businesses decorating the trees or putting the lights in the trees. So that was an option. There's still the option for city employees to put these in the trees. So, and that could be decided later, but if this does go back out for rebid and we decide to do all that, then those would have to be rescinded as well in some form or fashion. So I'd really like to hear from council what your thoughts are on that.
I say we rebid it. I mean, we could always reject the bids if they weren't within an amount that we were happy with, right?
Cam?
So, I mean, and I think the mayor mentioned at that Thursday work session that she had encountered somebody maybe in Atlanta that specializes in this, and maybe we can see what they're,
We're going to talk to him again. I'm not sure if Joe's still here, but I think Joe talked to him this morning, and I talked to him Friday. He saw the scope and didn't bid, but after I talked to him and explained to him more about what we were looking at, and that, if it's favorable and it's good for both of us, that this would be a longer-term venture. But I'm definitely for doing sponsorships too, but I think we need professionals to be consistent. I think the trees, everybody's don't mess with the tree lights. I'm just saying, it could be a problem.
Yeah, my recommendation is that we do the trees the way that we've always done them, but if we can get outside help to make them look that way and take that, yeah, and take that burden off our electric department, I'm in favor of considering that, depending on obviously what the bids look like when we get them back.
I guess I'm in favor of certainly the lights on the trees and doing it in a manner that's going to be consistent. Sponsors would be fine, but letting people decorate the tree in front of their particular shop, you'd wind up with a sort of a hodgepodge, I think, of trees. I'd rather continue to use the electric department to do it. I mean, they've done a good job in the past, and I know that might be a little bit of a strain on their workload, but I think some of those guys probably appreciate the opportunity to earn some overtime right before Christmas, and I really don't think the cost is that dramatic if you really factor in what we'd be paying them anyways, just as part of their regular salary.
This is mostly overtime, and I promise you, they don't want to hang the rights. They'll get overtime in other fashions, but this is definitely, this was engaged with that department.
Well, I'd say then let's bid it out, but leave all options on the table.
Any comments, Councilman Brown, Councilman Boone?
Well, the only thing I can see is a bid would, and we could indicate what the difference in the price difference was, and perhaps we could save a little money. Or not do it at all, if the city could do it at a savings from the bid.
Any comments, Councilman Brown? No comment. I guess I kind of think along the lines of Councilman Conyers is that I do realize it takes the employees away from some of their duties, but it was done for years in the past, and I think that we could be a little bit more efficient in how we wrap the lights on the trees, but I'm not opposed to putting it back out for bid, but like you said, having the option of the employees continuing to do it, because I know they complain about it and they don't want to do it. I understand that. However, I think it worked well for years with the city employees doing it. Don't see a massive reason to change. So I tell you, it sounded like I heard the majority would approve of rebidding them and getting a number at least. So you can keep that in the motion to replace 19 and include that. And then lastly, there was a document handed out. It's just a resolution that says that the policy that no written electronic or video record of the city shall be destroyed or removed from the control of the city clerk without council approval beginning immediately. Something that just needs to be done anyway. I asked to put this on, and I would ask for your comments on that. Is anybody opposed to us preserving our records? Okay. Any comments? If not, I will entertain a motion to amend the agenda to replace the one agenda item 19 with the newer resolution, which is to put this back out for bid and reject all the bids, and then also to add the rebidding of the installation of the seasonal supplemental LED lighting, and then also the resolution to institute a record retention policy. Can I entertain a motion?
Second.
Okay, that's a motion to amend the agenda to include these three items. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of amending the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please say nay. Okay. So the new item 19 will be 19. The seasonal lighting will be item 33. And then the record retention will be item 34. Okay. Thank you, Council. That will move to item 1, which is to approve the minutes of the 24th of July's regular city council meeting, the work session, and the agenda meetings. Do you have any changes, additions, or deletions to these minutes, Council? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of these meetings.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any final comments? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes as submitted, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, minutes are approved. Your report, Mayor Wilson.
Thank you. We have some of these in the back. These are the little booklets. They're back where the agenda item, agenda handouts are. And this is something that citizen engaged, talking about Fairhope's future, moving forward together, and it's just really all about growth. This was, I think, what motivated many of us to run. It is the main concern of our citizens today, and this is kind of just to get us all on the same page as far as what the plan should be for the future. So I do welcome you to get this, read it. Please send comments to me or council. All of our information is on the back here, so, and it's in the back. We've received some concerns about the flowers in town and looking tired, but I want to assure everyone that I didn't know this, but this is a annual complaint about this time of year because it's very, very hot, and that partnered with the fact that we've had a ton of rain. But we are in the season of transferring those flowers out in September, and with our new website that we hopefully will be making live by the end of this month, we're going to start letting people know when they can go and not help them get the flowers out of their beds, leave that to them, but at least you'll know when that's happening, so if you want any, you can take them home. We're going to call it Flower Jubilee. Also, this year, the FEMA flood maps are in. And Eric Cortinez of our building department is holding a public open house here in Chambers on August 29th at 5 p.m. There have been significant changes to our flood plains inland, and it would behoove all of our residents to come out at the map, take a look at the maps and see how these changes affect them individually. On the flip side, the bayfront has received some relief. We will continue to use social media to get the word out on this meeting. As everyone is aware, we are experiencing phenomenal growth, 26.7% based on the new census. While our city employees, the rank has increased, the employees have increased 2.5% over the same time period. Everyone is doing their best to keep up with the extra work. A perfect example of what this workload means for our water and sewer, and I want to congratulate them for this. Every staff person takes care of 7,708 customers. 6 staff people, that's how many we have in our water and sewer, take care of 46,000 customers. The work during the moratorium has brought light to the simple fact that we have some ordinance with loopholes or that are out of date for today's time and needs. Some are in planning regs and others are found in the city facility rentals and generally everyday ordinances. We are looking at all of them and will be bringing them to council in the near future. These new ordinances will help us better and more efficiently operate our city and plan for our changes now and into the future. Our police department's back to school day was a huge success. Thank you, Chief. That was this past Saturday. They gave out a backpack to every child who came out that day. And then they split the backpacks among Ecumenical Ministries, Methodist Church, and the police department. I'm not sure if you have any left. Awesome. So if there's any kids you know that need backpacks for back to school, you can check those 3 areas. I don't even have to mention the recycling because they already mentioned it, but for the people who were not at the work session, our recycling has changed from 4 days a week to 5 days a week, and that transition really started fresh this week. So it takes off 20% of our labor by changing it to 5 days a week. It gets everybody back by lunchtime, and it saves us a lot of labor in doing so. So that starts this week. Our Goose Away program is proving successful. The lights were installed less than a week ago. They will remain in place and be there for the next fly-in season, where we expect this system will help us get ahead of the situation before the geese become a problem next year. With this success, we will look to install the lights of the golf course next year. There will be a new Brat substation at the parking garage. We're really excited about this new opportunity in Fairhope. We think it will go a long way in helping the traffic and parking issues in Fairhope, especially as it will bring attention to the parking garage and make it more utilized by residents and visitors alike. And my thank you for this week is I want to give recognition to Jeff Montgomery in our IT department. And he's behind the scenes right now filming this and monitoring the mics. But let's see, we will probably have a new website up the end of this month. And he did all that in his spare time. And let me tell you about his spare time. He has none. So we did it in-house. I'm really proud of this website. It's going to be a lot more user-friendly. 70% of citizens use their cell phone when they look at websites. I mean, it's very rarely that people are at a computer looking at this. And you'll be happy to know that when you look at our website now, when it goes live, that you can easily maneuver it with your cell phone. And do I have anybody with the Eastern Shore Institute for Lifelong Learning? Awesome. I have a proclamation. This is for their 40th anniversary. The Eastern Shore Institute of Lifelong Learning, located in Fairhope, Alabama, is a nonprofit organization offering a unique program in adult education. It presents 2 terms of courses each year in the fall and again in winter spring. There are no prerequisites, I would like this, requirements, tests, marks, or credits involved. ESOL was conceived as continuing education without unnecessary pressure. Its philosophy is learning for the fun of learning. The Friends of ESOL will celebrate 40th anniversary on Sunday, August 20th at 2 p.m. at the Unitarian Fellowship, 1150 Fairhope Avenue. I, Karen Wilson, as mayor of the city of Fairhope, recognize the importance of lifelong learning and its benefits to the residents along the Eastern Shore, and do hereby proclaim Sunday, August 20th, 2017 as ESOL's Day in the city of Fairhope. Congratulations. Thank you. Do I come up and get in the picture? They're like, no thank you. We appreciate you. Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks for being here. And that's all I have for the mayor's report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Wilson. Next item on tonight's agenda is public participation. These are comments pertaining to agenda items 5 through 34. If you would like to address the council on any items other than items 5 through 24, please wait for the second opportunity, which will be held at the end of tonight's council meeting. So I'll now open the floor. You'll have 3 minutes to discuss any of the items numbers 5 through 34.
Francis Whip, 22985 High Ridge Road. A lot of times I look at the agenda before it's printed, and I mean before we get to council meeting, and number 26 was far more detailed in what I read. So I don't know when this was amended, but the one I read had very specific questions, and that Mr. Robinson was going to be in charge of getting these questions done. And then I even saw where you wanted to use subpoena power against Elias to serve them to get the questions answered. Is that correct?
You looking at me?
Yeah.
I don't know. You have to ask council president.
That's how it was written up. And the thing that concerns me is that you have employees suing you, and part of their case has something to do with what was said and done through Elias. So you're not telling me that the council is going to authorize something like this that may or may not turn up any evidence that's used in court against us. I don't get it. I mean, this one I really don't get at all. This also, tomorrow morning, the city is going to court over the Fly Creek PUD, which we had all the opportunity to turn down, but we didn't. Now we're in court tomorrow. So, and then you've got the sewer thing and many other issues. I don't understand why you're going down this road.
Well, if I can address some of this, you make a point that I think makes it exactly relevant as to why some of this information is being requested. We have 2 claims pending against the city that I believe this information would be directly relevant to, and I think you are agreeing with that. And I think it's important for us, whether it's good or bad, I think we need to know that either way, because if it's relevant to these claims, the city needs to know about it.
Why is that incumbent on you? What do we got lawyers for? You're going,
Well-
this going to court. You're already in court. You've already been served.
No, we're not in court. That's the problem, is there have been claims made against the city. There's been no lawsuits filed. So my understanding, and Jack can correct me if I'm wrong, is that our lawyers attempted to get this information informally, and they would not turn it over unless there was formal action by the council.
There's no personal gain on this whole IT thing. I don't understand what you're going after when you have much more serious problems. We just had a sewer spill of 250,000 gallons. Way more than 250,000 gallons. Guarantee you, in a very problematic area that's been going on again and again for years, 6 or 8 as long as I remember, especially since Publix has been built, especially at that sewer intersection. I think you're going down the wrong road with this. I think you're bringing some liability on the council, and I think these questions should be asked by the attorneys they want to sue us, then let us sue us, and let's go to court and get them to ask.
It's already been asked and
What I
given.
know about, excuse me, I'm sorry, but what I know about these guys from Elias is that these are ex-FBI guys. I mean, this isn't just some geeks that are messing around with IT. I'm sorry, Mayor.
No, I was just going to say, it's already been asked and given to the attorneys.
I don't see where you're going with it.
Not to our knowledge.
It's been given to Matt. There was a request by the attorneys and to their attorneys.
Mr. McDowell, you're aware of receiving any information that we're requesting right now that's been turned over to our attorneys?
Not specifically.
Matt's the one that picked up the disc from Lisa, right?
Yes,
I mean,
So Lisa, we do have this information?
not all of it.
Well,
I have no idea. I had nothing to do, I just know that it was requested and it was delivered.
I think just to be able to clarify any misconceptions, that it's a good idea to get it. It doesn't hurt. I mean, if the council has information, and this is the way, as Councilman Robinson pointed out, we asked them informally for it. If they need to have a subpoena issued, it's certainly within our authority to do so. And so we'll ask it, and it may be helpful in any future matters concerning this. We have 3 claims pending, a sum of about $300,000, and if it may help us defend our case. So, anyway, appreciate your comments. Anybody else? Floor is still open. Okay, I see no one. I'll now close the floor to public participation for agenda items and remind you that you will have another opportunity at the end of tonight's meeting. And move on to council comments. Councilman Robinson.
All right, I do have a couple, and luckily they're all positive. First, I went to the red, white, and blue back to school event. It was great. Police were out there. Fire department was out there. A lot of kids. It was a great time. A lot of other city employees out there cooking burgers and just really serving the community. We had good weather finally, and it was a great turnout and a great event. So thank you guys for doing that. Second is the Fairhope Youth Baseball Ozone All-Star Team won the Dixie Youth Baseball World Series. They're the World Series champion. And so for those of you that aren't familiar with the setup, there are various, and Marcus told me this a little bit a while ago, there are various classifications of different age groups that they play, different, we're Dixie Boy, but then there are other different classifications. And so that team they're leaving actually probably in the next hour and a half to go to Branson, Missouri to play in the National Baseball Championship against those other classifications. So we wish them the best of luck and good luck representing the city of Fairhope. We know they'll do great. Next, Fairhope Public Schools start back next week. So I'd like everybody to say a prayer for our teachers, our babies, and our administrators, and wish them the best of luck next week, especially those that teach my children. And last, I want to finish with this because I think it's great. Last week, somebody came up to me and said, "Councilman, I need to speak to you." And it's a pretty ominous intro. You never really know where that's going to go. But they said, "I need to talk to you about something that happened that really shows what kind of place Fairhope is." Y'all have heard several times that you've been here about the recycling and the change in recycling. Well, they got something in their mailbox and weren't quite sure, just wanted to call and verify when their recycling pickup date was. So they called the city on a Friday afternoon, not expecting to get anybody. They left a message. And she said, the nicest man called me on Saturday morning, and his name was Dale. And he explained to me in detail sort of when my recycling was, how everything's going to change, how everything would work. And she said, you don't get that at other places, to get a call back from the head of the recycling department on a Saturday morning to explain the question that you gave to them. And so thank you, Dale. Thank you, Arthur, for doing what you do to continue to make Fairhope the special place that it is. As hard as it may seem sometimes, the citizens do recognize that and appreciate it, and it makes what we do great, and we're just very appreciative for that. So thank you. Thank you for what you do. And that's all I've got.
Thank you. Councilman Conyer?
All right, I don't have a whole lot to say, but to add to what Jay said, schools starting back Monday for Baldwin County schools. Bayside, Bayshore, they're already back in session. I believe Christ the King and St. Michael's as well, but just be careful out there riding around. A lot more traffic on the roads. Been on vacation the last week, so I don't have a whole lot to add, but I got to go to a few of my favorite places. And I will say that coming back to Fairhope, there's no place like home. We really are extremely lucky to live here. We have a great community and a great place, and it felt good to drive back down Veterans Parkway there.
Glad to have you.
Yeah, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay. Councilman Brown?
Thank you, Jack. I want to take this opportunity to apologize to the citizens of Fairhope, especially those of Fly Creek, for the sewer spill. It was unfortunate and also a learning curve for the city. Measures have already been taken to remedy this from happening again. The failures, mechanical breakdown that could not have been prevented, but has given some insight, and I appreciate Dan for staying on top of it, and hopefully we can stay on top of these other lift stations that are in the sensitive areas, such as the watersheds.
Is that better? Yes. Perfect. Hopefully you heard everything up to now. But continuing on that, preserving our waterfront as Fairhope should be paramount for all of us governing the city. If without the waterfront, we wouldn't be Fairhope. And also along those lines, preserving Greeno corridor should be paramount as well. So I look forward in the near future, getting with the planning department and the mayor to come up with a plan on how we can preserve Greeno to make it the best it can be. That's all.
Thank you, Councilman Brown. Councilman Boone?
Yes, actually, you'll see on your agenda that we have an appointment for a personnel board. And I would, at this time, would like to turn over my time to Ms. Diane Thomas and Lorenzo Howard to introduce the prospective member to y'all, who I think is highly qualified. Oh, yes.
Mayor and Council, I would like to introduce Jeannie Frazier to y'all. She's the newest nominee of the mayors for appointment to the Personnel Board. I think you have her resume in your packet and her application. All of the Personnel Board interviewed her, and we all fell in love with her. We don't usually express it like that, but she is the District Sales Manager for Public Services. And when I asked Jeannie what that was, she said, I work for a garbage company. And we could go on, but I think from her resume, you can see that she's highly qualified. We're very excited because she is personally involved right now. She has a team of 36, but she does progressive discipline. She does merit increases. She does employee development. This is part of her day-to-day activities. And so on the board, we try to balance old retired folks like Lorenzo and me with younger, still actively working board members. And so we feel like Jeannie's background, experience, and education really keeps us a diverse group. So here she is now. I've been told that she's not been approved yet. Remember when I tried to do this before, introduce somebody, and Jack said you may not want to do that until she's approved?
You're not even on the board, Diane. I mean, it's expired December 2015.
Anyway, that's our speech, so thank you so much.
We especially like your pay scale, which is pro bono. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Is that it? Councilman Booth? I do have a question. So on these, on the back side of that appointment, are we reappointing, are these nominations made, Mayor Wilson?
I don't think there's any.
No, that's just showing the.
Was this an old sheet? Well, it says
That's just
Diane
showing their
Thomas.
terminations.
Well, it says that Diane Thomas's term ends December 2015?
We redid that.
That's just old piece of
Yes.
paper? Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. We didn't need to reappoint people.
No.
Well, I don't have a report. Everybody took all the good news before it got to me, so I think Councilman Brown had addressed some other concerns and the comments on the sewer spill. I know that we have some people that wanted to speak on it in a work session. Apologize to you. It was just a timing issue, and we really had to rush through some of the last items on the agenda meeting tonight, which I knew we would wind up doing. But we are concerned. I do think that we are taking steps to prevent future spills. I won't make you a promise that it'll never happen again, because anything man-made is subject to fail, but as long as we're doing everything that we can. And also want to make certain that we notify the people, and I believe, Mayor, you probably have already started taking steps to maybe implement changes to how people are notified. And can you speak to that?
The Code Red, which is a new communication software that we're going to be using, it sounds like it's for emergency. That's because it is, but we're going to be using it for all communication. Most people read their text, they read them 90% and email 30%. So it will contact you in the way that people like to be contacted, and it comes with 80% of the I think it's 80%. Jeff might have to help me with that statistic, with the contacts already in there. So when this is installed, we can take an area, especially if it's a sewer spill, kind of circle around that area and notify just that group.
Can you go into that software and then just really?
I mean, I don't know how to do it,
drag a line
but
around
yeah, I mean, this, oh, there he is, okay.
Yeah, so in this instance, we could have used the Code Red software, we hopefully have it implemented soon. I think there's some contract details that need to be worked out, but we would make a decision who we want to notify. So in this instance, we could have drawn like a circle or a square around the Fly Creek area and typed out a message, and whatever preferred way that they want to be contacted, whether it be Facebook, text message, email, any form of communication that they wish to be notified with, they can be notified by that method.
How much is an effort, Mayor? You mentioned something that sometimes that software comes loaded with data. I mean, is it a huge effort to input, 25,000 residences?
What set Code Red apart from the other folks was they already have 80% of the information.
Okay.
They get it by other means, tax records, however, they data mine, collect people's phone numbers that are in the Fairhope area. So when we, first day of implementation, we'll have 80% of the population put in. Now, there's some folks like myself that don't have a home, I don't have a home phone, I have a cell phone, and that's it. So on our website, we'll have to advertise that if you want to be, sign up for this notification, we can opt in. And it works the opposite way, too. They can opt out. If the 80%, somebody in that 80% didn't want to be notified of anything, they can opt out of it. I think you have to do that by law.
But we'll have different functions of communication if you don't want certain things, but we're going to use it for a lot of communication.
Yeah, emergency communications is what it's built for, but you can fine tune it to, like, if they want to be notified when there's a tournament at Quail Creek, you can sign up for that notification. You can go as broad as, if we need to do a citywide evacuation because of a hurricane, we can send out that notification to the whole entire population. Yeah.
We'll get more into the weeds of that. I'd like to know more about, what percentage of the people we're reaching in an area, if it's 90, 95, 98. I know that we will never get to 100% because some people don't want to be communicated
Right.
with. I'd like to be one of those sometimes, but,
Yeah.
between texting and emailing and Facebook and but if we're still missing, there's still a possibility that we're going to be missing a certain segment of the population.
Right.
Something like this, if it's something like this sewer spill, and were they to go to the creek and try to swim in the creek or play in whatever they might be doing, that's serious enough nature. We need to make sure that we're doing every reasonable effort to contact everyone.
Absolutely.
I think that to get the extra 20% and updated information if they have another cell phone or something, we're going to do a campaign along with launching the new website and tying all that in together.
Okay.
So,
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
thank you. All right.
All right.
All right, that concludes my comments, and we'll move to item 5, the final adoption of an ordinance to amend ordinance number 1586, the Code of Ordinance to alter the schedule of fees for construction and building permits. This was introduced at the July 24th, 2017 City Council meeting. Mr. Cortinas?
Thank you, Mayor Council. The request was to make some adjustments to our schedule of fees. We asked to increase our reinspection fees that we charge for builders who are continually calling in with the same items over and over. We also requested to set our plan review fee. Currently is based on the value of the project. Later on in the agenda, you're going to see a contract with the International Code Council to do review services for us on a third-party basis with some of our projects. We want to change that to be either our typical $2.50 per thousand or the cost of the third-party review so that the city is not having to come out of pocket for that money.
Any questions for Mr. Cortinas, council? Okay, would somebody like to entertain a motion for final adoption of this ordinance?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, clerk, will you call that question?
Council President?
Aye.
Place 2?
Aye.
Place 3?
Aye.
Place 4?
Aye.
Place 5?
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, council. Item number 6 is a resolution that Mayor Karen Wilson is hereby authorized to execute a third extension of the agreement concerning the tolling of the statute of limitations between the Utilities Board of the City of Daphne and the City of Fairhope regarding jointly owned gas lines. Council, I can tell you this is just to continue negotiating the sharing of revenues and cost of these jointly owned lines. About the best way to summarize it.
What's the length of time of the extension? Or is that specified anywhere?
And was an additional 91, it was a second extension was 92 days effective April the 14th, and there will be another one that extends it's another 91 days.
Okay.
That's from the date of the ending of that second, of that original tolling agreement. Any questions? I'll entertain a resolution to execute the third extension.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to execute the third extension of the agreement concerning the tolling of the statute of limitations between Daphne Utilities and City of Fairhope. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, resolution passes. Item 7 is a resolution accepting the public streets, public right-of-ways, and all of Fairhope's public utilities located in the public right-of-ways within Fox Hollow Phase 1 for maintenance, subject to the bond posted, and authorizes Mayor Karen Wilson to execute the maintenance and guarantee agreements between the City of Fairhope, Montrose Property Incorporated, and Hill Brothers. Mr. Dias? Just normal standard operating procedure here?
Yes, sir, it is. They've all been inspected. They've all been approved by Public Works and the utilities and planning, and we see no issues with this at all and recommend approval.
Any questions for Mr. Dias? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept these public streets right-of-ways and the public utilities.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, thank you, council. Resolution passes. Item number 8 is a resolution accepting all of Fairhope's public utilities located in public right-of-ways within Colony Woods subdivision for maintenance, subject to the bond posted, and authorizes Mayor Karen Wilson to execute the maintenance and guarantee agreements between the City of Fairhope, Jason Tickle, and Hill Brothers.
Same here, council. This has been approved and inspected, and we recommend approval of this.
Is it the same for the next item, Woodlawn?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make a motion on 8 and 9. If I
We'll
can do
let's do
that.
it one at a time.
Okay.
Thank you, though.
Just trying to expedite the process.
You've been on the road a long time, though.
Thank you
Yeah.
for your
Okay,
efficiency.
I have a motion. Can we just make that item 8?
Sure, that's
Okay.
fine.
We have a motion to adopt resolution number 8, or item 8, the resolution accepting all the utilities and public right-of-ways within the Colony Woods subdivision.
Second.
Now in a second. Okay, any final discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, item 9 is a resolution accepting public streets, public right-of-ways, and all of Fairhope's public utilities located within the public right-of-ways within Woodlawn Phase 3 for maintenance, subject to the bond posted, and authorizes Mayor Karen Wilson to execute the maintenance and guarantee agreement between the City of Fairhope and Woodlawn Development Company 2014 Incorporated. Entertain a motion to adopt this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of this resolution, please say aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, resolution passes. Thank you, council. Item number 10 is a resolution the City of Fairhope hereby terminates the contract for online utility payments for an internet connection to the city's website between the City of Fairhope and Paymentus, and approve Mayor Karen Wilson to sign the necessary paperwork. Entertain a motion to pass this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, thank you, council. Resolution passes. Item number 11 is a resolution to reject all bids for the pool building facade repair for the Recreation Department, bid number 007-017. And as we discussed in the work session, an agenda meeting this week, put back out for bid with a slightly different scope of work. Entertain a motion to reject these bids.
So moved.
I have 2 motions, I need a second.
Second.
All right, a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of this resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, the bids will be rejected. Thank you, council. Item 12 is a resolution that the city council approves the selection of Neil Schaefer to perform design engineering services for sidewalks between US 98 and County Road 13 for ALDOT TAP grant number TAPAA-TA17, and hereby authorizes Mayor Karen Wilson to negotiate a fee schedule and establish a not-to-exceed limit with this firm. Entertain a motion for this resolution.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the selection of Neil Schaefer. Any further discussion?
Jack, what roads are these sidewalks on? No, it says in between 98 and 13. but-
It is going to be on 44, and I believe, let's look back there, good question, 44, and I want to say maybe even along, maybe some out on Manley Road, at the end of Manley Road, going to the soccer complex. I believe that's what was stated. Dan is not here. Richard, can you confirm that?
Yes, sir, I believe it's on Manley Road. Getting to the soccer complex between 98, and there may be a few places where the sidewalk already exists, but they're going to fill those gaps in with this.
Right. Wasn't there also, we were going to try to design some sidewalks on 44 along between 98 and 13 as well?
There's a second project that will provide sidewalks on County Road 13 from Manley Road up to Shakefield. Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, but I remember that second one, right?
And I think it may loop back around and fill in the gaps you're talking about. But that's a separate.
I
tap
thought the
grant.
last one had the details of that in there, the last time we put this on there.
I'm not familiar enough with the.
Well, it would be covered if it's Manley and 44, or whether it's Manley, because it says sidewalks between 98 and County Road 13, so it's generic enough, I think, that we wouldn't have to.
I know
To re-approve
it's the sidewalk that was on the application that was approved by the Highway Department.
Okay.
And I just hadn't gotten
Sure.
deep enough in
You got a
details
lot-
to be clear about it, and I apologize for that.
No, that's a problem. Okay. Where are we, clerk? Do we have a motion and a second yet?
You have a motion and a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Anybody have any further questions or any discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor of approving the selection of Neil Schaefer, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, they are approved. Thank you, council. Item 13 is a resolution. The city council approves the selection of Mott McDonald to perform professional engineering services for an MPO downtown traffic, pedestrian safety, and wayfinding signage and parking study, and hereby authorizes Mayor Karen Wilson to negotiate a fee schedule and establish a not-to-exceed limit with this firm. It's pretty self-explanatory. We've discussed this several times, council. Does anybody have any questions for Richard? Or Wayne could probably speak to this if necessary, or I could.
This is grant money?
Part of it is grant money. I mean, we have a small amount to match the MPO's funds, 20%, I believe. See the number. Project cost is $30,000, local match, our match is $6,000, or 20% of that.
The engineering firm is going to put together a traffic study just for downtown to see how we can utilize parking and a possible alternate route instead of having through traffic through the downtown, just to make it safer. I know that's important to us all.
Any questions?
No.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second?
Have a motion and a second to approve the selection of Mott McDonald. That's hard to say, Mott McDonald, and we have a Matt McDonald that works for us, too. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, hearing none. On those approving the selection, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Selection is approved. Thank you, council. Item number 14 is a resolution. The city council approves the selection of Goodwin Mills Kaywood to replace, or for engineering services. I'm going to make that change. It should say approves the selection of Goodwin Mills Kaywood for engineering services to replace the HVAC unit on the roof of the Civic Center. This is RFQ number PS 040-17, and hereby authorizes Mayor Karen Wilson to negotiate a fee schedule and establish a not-to-exceed limit with this firm. Entertain a motion for this?
So moved.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Okay, selection is approved. Thank you, council. Item number 15 is a resolution that Mayor Karen Wilson is hereby authorized to execute a contract with Keat Consulting Services, LLC for RFQ number PS-026-17, or professional consulting services to upgrade the city's GIS with online mapping system with a not-to-exceed amount of $54,700, broken down like this: $25,900 in year one and $14,400 in years 2 and 3. This, I want to note, is a replacement to the budget item, which was a server that was going to be used with the Munis system to perform some of this GIS mapping. So this is not a budgeted item, but it replaces a budgeted item. I thought that Jeff did a very good job in the work session, or agenda meeting, of explaining that. So I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to execute the contract. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of authorizing the mayor to execute the contract, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Thank you, council. Item 16 is a resolution that Mayor Karen Wilson is hereby authorized to execute a contract with the International Code Council to perform on-call professional consulting services for a construction plan review for the building department with a not-to-exceed amount of $40,000. Entertain a motion to execute this contract.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Authorize the mayor to execute the contract. Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Item 17 is a resolution to award the bid for painting the roof of Fire Station Number 1 to Damani Incorporated with a total bid proposal of $17,541.60. This was bid number 019-17. I'll entertain a motion to award this bid.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion in 2 seconds. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, bid is awarded. Thank you, council. Item 18 is a resolution to award the bid for Python 3 FS dash-mounted radar systems to Emergency Lighting by Haynes with a total bid proposal of $6,475, and to Dana, or DANA, Safety Supply for all other items per attached schedule with the total bid proposal of $18,740.28. This was bid number 021-17, and under tab 18 you will find all of those tabulated if you care to go through all of those. This is budgeted. I'll entertain a motion to award these bids.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second to award the bids. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, thank you, council. Item number 19, as stated on your agenda, was removed. We have a new resolution, and I'll read this to you. It says that be it resolved that the governing body of the city of Fairhope, Alabama, as follows: that the city of Fairhope did not request, receive, and open bids for printing of calendar, did request, receive, and open bids for printing of calendar 2017 for the Economic and Community Development Department, bid number 023-17 at 555 South Section Street in the city of Fairhope offices, Fairhope, Alabama. That's item 1. Item 2, after evaluation of the bid responses and additional discovery revealed that it would be in the best interest of the city to change the scope and set specifications of the project and include additional work in the project. Therefore, the recommendation is to reject all bids for bid number 023-17, adopted this 14th day of August 2017. And council, before you entertain a motion, I did just one kind of clerical note, and I don't know that it matters at all. It says for the Economic and Community Development Department, we have a community development department. I don't know if the word economic and, those 2 words, economic and, need to be in there. Probably doesn't hurt if it is in there, but somebody wants to make a motion with it in or strike those 2 words out, it's fine with me. But I will entertain a motion to reject all the bids and to rebid.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, the bids are rejected, and we understand it to be rebid. Thank you, council. Item number 20 is a resolution to purchase 1 one-way phase over phase type G 46 kilovolt gang switch for the electric department, and authorizes its procurement without formal bid based on the option allowed by the Code of Alabama 1975 section, and you can read the rest of that. The cost will be $15,416. Entertain a motion for this purchase.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to purchase the one-way phase over phase type G gang switch. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, purchase is approved. Item 21 is a resolution to purchase a 2018 Freightliner M2-106 chassis setback axle with a 16-foot body, also known as a flower watering truck for the Public Works Department. The equipment is available for direct procurement through the National Joint Powers Alliance buying group contract, therefore it does not have to be let out for bid. This bid has been nationally bid, through the NJPA's bid process with a total cost of $89,731. Entertain a motion to purchase this Freightliner.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. And for those of you that may have just joined the council meeting after the work session and the agenda meeting, we did go through a lot of these, and so they are budgeted items, so if it seems like we're blowing through $90,000 expenditures, we are. They were discussed at length during the budget. I just wanted you to know that we do take $90,000 as a serious business, but since these have been visited several times, we're blowing through them pretty quick. Item 22 is a resolution to purchase a 2018 Freightliner 122SC chassis Ford axle 18-wheeler truck for the Public Works Department. That would be specifically the sanitation portion of the Public Works Department. The equipment is available for direct procurement through the National Joint Powers Alliance buying group contract. Therefore, it does not have to be let out for bid. It's already been bid nationally through the NJPA's bid process with a total cost of $119,725. Entertain a motion to approve this purchase.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
10,000 under.
There you go. That's what I wanted to hear. All right. All those in favor of this motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, purchase is approved. Thank you, council. Item 23 is a resolution to purchase firefighting gear for the fire department. The items are available for purchase from NAFCO as quotes were obtained. The cost will be $907.50. Entertain a motion for this purchase.
So moved.
Have a second, please.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for this purchase. Any further discussion?
5,000 under.
All right. Either you guys are getting really smart or really conservative with those quotes, but at least it makes us feel good. Okay. Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor of purchasing the firefighting gear, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. Okay, purchase is approved. Thank you, council. Item 24 is a resolution to purchase the interfacing of the payment processing system with the city's Munis financial system for the IT department from Paymentus Corporation as a sole source distributor, and authorizes procurement based on the option allowed by the Code of Alabama. The cost will be $7,500. We were told earlier by City Treasurer that we need to renew this at least until 2018. I'll entertain a motion for this purchase.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the purchase, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. Okay, purchase is approved. Thank you, council. Item 25 is a resolution to purchase SCADA system sensors for the water department. The items are available for purchase from Westco Distribution as quotes were obtained. The cost will be $14,922.60. Entertain a motion for this purchase.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, purchase is approved. Dan, do you envision us needing SCADA system components prior to our next meeting, which will be 2 weeks from tonight?
No, sir, not if this magnitude.
Okay, you could get things ordered and we wouldn't need to, I just don't want to put you behind.
No, this is something separate.
I know it's separate, but I am still thinking about the sewer spill.
No, those breakers are not that expensive.
Okay.
We ordered 6 or 7, 8 of them, something like that.
Okay. All right, I just don't want to hamstring you for 2 weeks.
No, sir, no.
Okay, all right, thank you, Dan. Okay. Item number 26 is a resolution that the City Council hereby authorizes Jay Robinson on behalf of the council to request and obtain from Relias Technologies documents and information regarding the IT contract. As said earlier, this was to just clear the air on some things. It is a little bit wordier, Mr. Ripp, even than I had seen, but sometimes legalities play a role. I do want to add some words to this or suggest some wording that city attorney received as he was walking in the work session, actually stopped me after the work session and gave me, so the wording to be added, and let me know if you have a problem with this or not. It says, the release of the requested information by Relias Technologies pursuant to this resolution shall not be construed as a breach of the terms of the contract and shall leave all provisions of the contract in force. Mr. Attorney, do you see any reason why we should not add that language? Think it should be added? So that would be a paragraph under the first paragraph. So I'll ask to entertain a motion with that amended resolution with those couple of sentences added.
Looking for a motion?
Yes, sir.
So moved.
Excuse me, you need to amend the resolution and then approve it as
Can he
amended.
say he makes the motion with the amended resolution?
He has to amend that because it wasn't in the package.
Okay. Well, it's just part of the resolution. But I'll entertain a motion to amend the resolution as written to include the language that I just
So moved.
mentioned. Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. I have a motion and a second to amend the resolution as it was presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Now, I will entertain a motion to adopt the resolution as amended.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I think I do. I just want to be clear on what this is authorizing me to do. It looks like I'm just authorized to receive the information, is that correct?
Yeah, I had questioned city attorney as to why it had your name. You know, you said that, you said that I had put that in, that was on advice from a city attorney that somebody's name should be put there, and since you're an attorney, I put your name there. And
I'm very grateful, thank you.
Yeah. So, you won't be receiving any information. I would assume that you would probably hand that over to the clerk for.
Well, that's kind of what I
dispersion to the city council.
I wanted to double check.
So it doesn't make you, I don't think, any more, any less responsible than any other council member in the handling that information.
I thank you to whoever put my name on it, I appreciate that.
You can thank Mr. Wynn for that. We want to toughen you up a little bit. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the resolution as amended, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, resolution passes. Item number 27 is appointment to the Personnel Board, as discussed in the council comments portion. This would be the appointment of Jeannie Frazier to replace Jenny Erdos. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes.
The term ending December 2019. I'll entertain a motion for this appointment.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the appointment to the Personnel Board of Jeannie Frazier. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, appointment is approved. Thank you, council. Item 28 is an application for a restaurant liquor license by Jesse Patterson for Old Bay Steamer, doing business as Old Bay Steamer, located at 14 North Church Street in Fairhope, Alabama. As customary, I would ask the police chief if everything is in order. Do you see any reason that we should deny this application?
No, sir, everything's in order.
Okay. That being the case, council, I'll entertain a motion to approve this application for the restaurant liquor license?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the application. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, the application is approved. Thank you, council. Item 29 is an application for a restaurant liquor license by Allison Johnson for El Camino Taco Shack, LLC, doing business as El Camino Taco Shack, located at 212 1 half Fairhope Avenue in Fairhope, Alabama. Chief Pettis, thank you for staying up there. Do you see any reason to deny this application?
Everything's in order.
Okay. Council here, and everything is in order from the chief. I'll entertain a motion to approve the application.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the application for the restaurant liquor license. Any final discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the application, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Okay, the application is approved. Thank you, council. Item 30 is an application for a beer and wine off-premise license by Kimberly Fontenot for Bay House Bistro, doing business as Bay House Bistro, located at 151 South Mobile Street in Fairhope, Alabama. Chief Pettis, once again.
Everything's fine with that also.
Could you tell me where this is exactly? Is this the restaurant where has the deck and then near Mr. Gambino's home?
I'm thinking that that's where it's
Yes,
at.
old
I
time.
didn't go down there.
The old time location?
Right.
I'm just curious. Okay. Anybody have any questions on this? Okay, hearing that everything is okay from the chief, I'll entertain a motion to approve this application for the beer and wine on off-premise license.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, the application is approved. Thank you. Item 31 is an application for a nonprofit tax exempt license or alcoholic beverage license by Matthew Wilkins for the National Wild Turkey Federation for their National Wild Turkey Federation banquet located at 161 North Section Street, Fairhope, Alabama. That's here, for those of you that don't know, on August the 18th, 2017, from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Is everything in order on this application, Chief?
Yes, sir. This is a yearly event that they have here at the Civic Center.
Okay. Council, hearing everything is okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve this application.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the application. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving this application, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, the application is approved. Thank you, council. Item 32 is a request of Katja Palumbo on behalf of the Fairhope K6 Parent Teacher Corporation, requesting permission to close the streets in downtown Fairhope on Saturday, January 27th, 2018, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the 5K run and 1 mile fun run known as the Pirate Dash to raise money for the educational needs of the Fairhope Elementary and Fairhope Intermediate Schools. Chief Pettis, is everything in order in this application? I don't think that this is a new event.
I mean, everything's in order. It's not a good thing.
Okay. All right. With everything being in order, I'll entertain a motion to grant this request.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to grant the request from the Fairhope K6 Parent Teacher Corporation. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, the request is approved. Item 13, which was added to the agenda prior to the meeting, was a resolution, and I will read it again for you. Be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Fairhope, Alabama as follows, that the City of Fairhope did not request bids, I'm sorry, I did that twice tonight. The City of Fairhope did request bids for the installation of seasonal supplemental LED lighting 2017 at 555 South Section Street in the City of Fairhope offices, Fairhope, Alabama. On August the 9th, when the bids were to be received and opened, no bids were received. And also that this governing body of the City of Fairhope, Alabama hereby rescinds the bids, which there were none, for the installation of seasonal supplemental LED lighting 2017 and authorizes to rebid this. I'll entertain a motion to rebid.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I just want to make sure that if we rebid, that we still retain the option of doing it ourselves. I know certain items, once you bid it, you're supposed to proceed with whoever the lowest bidder is, so I just want to make sure that's an option.
Yeah, I believe that And I may ask Ms. Smith, as long as that's bid, we always reserve the right to reject all bids, correct?
As long as we write that into the bid, when we bid it, we can.
Okay, who do we need to make certain that that's?
I believe that language was in this bid that went out, that we reserve the right to reject all bids. This is pretty standard in there.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay. Did we vote?
No, you haven't.
Okay. We do have a motion and a second, right?
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Council, barring any final discussion, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Okay, thank you, council. Motion passes. Item 34 is a resolution that the city council hereby institutes a record retention policy. The policy is that no written electronic or video record of the city shall be destroyed or removed from the control of the city clerk without council approval, beginning immediately. Entertain a motion for this?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor of the resolution, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Okay, the motion is approved. Thank you, council. Next item on the agenda is public participation. If you have anything else to bring forth before the council that wasn't on the agenda, please come forward and state your name and address for the record, and you will be given 3 minutes.
Thank you, Mayor Council. Eric Cortinas, and I'm the president again this year of Fairhope Pirate Booster Club. I want to make you aware of two things. We have typically we do a pancake breakfast spring and fall to announce the teams. Coach Carter and the athletic staff and the school wanted to change things up, so we are going to try to do this Saturday night, August 19th, from 6 to 8 at the football stadium. We're doing hamburgers, we're doing sausage dogs, we're going to feed everybody. The teams are going to come out, and for the middle school and the high school, all the coaches will announce their teams. So we tried this last year and we got rained out, and considering the amount of rain we've gotten this August, we're really hoping for a break.
You're due for a good day.
Yeah, I know, we're due.
What time did you say that was?
6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, Saturday night. This is at the stadium. If there is a rain out, then we're going to move it to the high school, and we've got everything set up to move it over to the high school, and we'll do this in the cafeteria in the gymnasium at the high school. So please come. We would love to have everybody there. Also let you know, we have our first football game before the next council meeting. Our first home football game this year is August 25th. St. Paul's will be coming over from Mobile. We have, the way that the season's going to work, our first 2 games are at home. Then we have 4 away games and a open date. So come catch the Pirates early. Then there's going to be about a 5-week break, and we finish up at home the rest of the season. So thank you all very much, and on behalf of the Booster Club and the athletic department and the school, thank you all very much for everything you do. You are very generous, and it is very much appreciated. And your comment about the prayers to the teacher, yes. I went by there to drop some paperwork off last Wednesday, and I actually had to park almost out at Greeno Road to get in there, so.
And Mr. Cortinas, if I could get a plug in also, that
Yes,
if you
sir.
can't make the games, if you can't make the away games, you can watch it on Pirate Nation Live. I heard that they've upgraded to high-definition video this year, and they've
That
got
is-
some unbelievably great commentators that you probably...
Absolutely. Yes.
Do you still do that?
Yeah, it did, and actually, thank you for mentioning that, because we wrote the check today. The Pirate Nation Live, last year, we broadcast 55 different events, and that was football, basketball, men's and women's, volleyball, swim, soccer. We broadcast softball. You know, poor Desmond Joyner almost got beheaded by a foul ball at the soccer field, or at the softball field. But we have upgraded that service to high def this year. The teams are loving it. The kids are loving it. You know, it's an opportunity for friends and family to watch these young people play that might not otherwise have a chance. And yes, we have some excellent announcers in all the sports. So, but thank you all very much.
Thank you for what you did.
One more comment on 26. Now I understand, Jay, because you didn't know your name was on there, and you hadn't read the first one, did you? I would suggest that you go back and you look how that first one was written, because when I read that, I did not believe that you would do that you would see different types of legal problems in that. And so now I understand you didn't even know your name was on there. So I hope that you go back and look at it and like the mayor said, she's already produced the answer, so it should be a pretty easy resolution. All you got to do is turn next to her and get them.
Anyone else?
Hello. My name's Elizabeth Tonsmeyer, and I'm here to hopefully inspire some change. I was born and raised in Fairhope. I have degrees and experience in sustainable construction and development. I spend a lot of time and have a business on Fly Creek, but I'm here today as a mother with a broken heart. Last Monday, August 7th at 1:15, my 8-month-old son took his first swim lesson in Fly Creek. It was actually his first time in the creek, and I hadn't been in there prior to being pregnant. I'd been putting off this first swim lesson, waiting for the perfect, non-rainy, clear water, sunshiny day, and August 7th was that day. The creek looked better than it had in months. My son went under 10 to 12 times. It's one of those where they try to drown him, so there was water in every hole possible. It was traumatic in any situation, as the instructor tried to persuade him to float on his back. It was certainly an experience I won't forget. Later at 4:14, a friend texted me a screenshot of a Facebook post made on the City of Fairhope, Fairhope's page about the Woodlands Lift Station sanitary sewer overflow. It didn't mention Fly Creek and was very vague, but my infant had been in that water, and it was just awful. I cried and cried. What have I done? I couldn't think of anything worse that could happen. Shock and anger and sadness. Silly me. I was avoiding the city pool and others because I didn't want to subject him to chlorine. So, I have 2 issues that need to be addressed. One, we've got to stop spilling raw sewage all over this town. This 266,000 gallons, one reliable source said it could have been well over that number, although 266,000 is enough for me. That contains human urine and feces, as well as the drugs and medications within. It's everything that's going down the drain: feminine products, tissue, wipes, washing machine water, shower water. The sewage is home to E. coli, hepatitis A and B, cholera, other viruses and bacteria that cause sickness, fever, stomach issues, etc. Imagine our pets that go for a stroll, and then they come in the house and jump on the big sofa pillows as soon as possible. What about the other animals in the ecosystem around the creek? When they move to other locations? Do you think that the blue herons have a Facebook page? This stuff spreads really quickly. Additionally, the acceptance of don't swim after it rains is ridiculous. Definitely not a good approach when it rains almost every day. The rain is not going to stop, so are we going to just stop swimming? Are we going to stay inside? Everybody going to open an air conditioning business? This is not the first time the Woodlands lift station has overflowed. The 69 lift stations throughout the city take turns having major spills. The Woodlands is just the topic of conversation today. All these lift stations must be upgraded to suit our population's needs and climate. There are many experts and known solutions for sanitary needs, proper equipment maintenance schedules, water efficiency solutions to reduce the amount going into the sewer system, using gray water, separating gray water from black water, and how to handle stormwater properly. I went into the Woodlands lift station last week. There's a children's rope swing about 10 feet from the sewer main, and a huge drum, half empty, with blue soap disbursement. This is not okay. Furthermore, we have the entire state stormwater and whatever else they happen to spill flowing here. The water is already polluted enough. We don't need to be adding more toxins close in. Furthermore, how can we expect people upstream and upstate to handle their water needs and issues properly if we aren't? What happens if a big hurricane rolls through town or another lengthy power outage? My second item is communication. We need quick and reliable communication system. This bill was known prior to our swim in the creek. This is completely unacceptable. Things will happen very occasionally, so we need to be able to communicate quickly. A vague, unhelpful, untimely Facebook post and one sign at a lift station does not cut it. We need much more thorough and better water quality monitoring program. In conclusion, if you don't have a cute baby at home to make you want to fix this system, then do it for your own health, your own quality of life, property values, sales and income revenue, tourist dollars, and the ability to have and eat local seafood. Honestly, our entire economy is built around the water. Why live on the Gulf Coast if you can't touch it? There are many organizations that are willing to help. Money and funding is not an excuse. We have money to spend on this, and you could use the BP spill money to help pay for it. One person mentioned that this is the perfect storm. Well, I hope that this is the perfect storm, and we can get it together. There's plenty of blame to go around, citizens included, I'm included, but the last straw came for me on August 7th, and I'm going to do everything I can to fix it. We are living in conditions worse than many developing countries. Algae blooms, flesh-eating bacteria, 26,000 gallons of raw sewage spills. That is not okay with me. You're the ones that have been elected to steer this town. With a sense of urgency, please unite together, get along with one another, communicate, compromise with one another, maintain a good working environment for the fabulous employees that work for the city. Be a leader. Be the group that got us swimming again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson.
Hello, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me today. My name is Yael Gerard. I'm the Executive Director of the Weeks Bay Foundation. The Weeks Bay Foundation also tested the waters at Fly Creek on Tuesday, August 8th. We tested at the 17 Turtles kayak launch area on a falling tide. We took 3 2-milliliter samples, a triplicate, at that site, and cultivated the E. coli colonies on easy gel treated Petri dishes, which I can explain what all that means if you want. But the tests came back with 500, 550, and 900 E. coli colonies per 100 milliliters, respectively. That is 5 to 9 times higher than the EPA acceptable level for swimming waters. These are similar levels to those noted by the Mobile Baykeeper staff in their tests. Our concern, and I think the concern of many of the people here tonight, is that these spills happen quite often. They are rarely reported effectively so that citizens can easily access the information, and they will continue to happen more and more frequently as the population of this area grows. I understand that you're putting in the Code Red system, and that should help to alleviate some of this. But another issue that we have is that these actions are in response to the issues. They're not proactive. The actions through the entire watershed affect the health of the bay and the health of its citizens. We don't have control over the regulations and the standards in Birmingham or Huntsville, but we do have control over how we model this town, and by collaboration, the county. Unchecked runoff from new development, poorly planned stormwater management, and sewage spills in the town need to be improved. There are knowledgeable partners here who want to help. Together, we can make sure that the Eastern Shore is a model for progressive water stewardship, and then how we react is not reactionary, but progressive and proactive. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council and Mayor. Good evening. I'm Tom Yeager. I'm at 859 Creek Drive, Fairhope. I was here a year ago when we had a spill at the Woodland site, and that was, they guesstimated 5,000 gallons, Jack. That was from vandalism. And at the time, there was a different council body and a different mayor, but everybody agreed that there should be some security up there, a fence with barbed wire and maybe some lights. And really and truly, I think a camera wouldn't hurt, you know. I went up there the other day last week and nothing. There's no, I drove right in. There's a little wire on 2 4x4s, you know, and it was down. I drove in, went right to the lift station, and all the electrical panels and everything are right outside, you know. I mean, they're all exposed to anybody that goes down there. And you got a rope swinging kid, so you know how that goes. But I think y'all should really think about that. The other thing I was going to ask, got my list here. Give me a second. was the, you're talking about getting communications on the phone, but Elizabeth called the sewer department, and about a sign to put down there at her business that the water was, not suitable for swimming, and they had 3 signs, and they could find 2, and the one was up there in the woods at the pump station where nobody is, So I think, the city should think about getting some signs made, and when you have this kind of problem, there's 150 boats at the dry storage place, and I'll guarantee you not all of those people live in Fairhope. So when they go, and I was watching kids and families put the boat in with the forklift, and getting ready to hit the water, and they always come up the creek to swim, and I was out of 10 people I asked if they knew there was a sewer spill, 7 didn't know. So anyway, I think some signs would be good. At the yacht club at the end of Atlanta, you have a sign that ADEM and Baldwin County Health Department has there. Their sign for this whole time says that the water quality is fine for swimming. It was never changed, and I don't know if we got communication with them, Fairhope, the city, or I don't know if they even knew we had a sewer spill, But and I don't know when they tested last, but. And that was the other thing, too, was who's testing the water? Is the city, are y'all taking responsibility for testing it and letting the citizens know when it's clean or when it's flushed or when it's clear? How do we know that, I know Yael came, she tested with Weeks Bay. I took baykeepers up the creek in the boat twice to do some water testing, and I think they said the city asked them for their test. But, the city, I think, should take the responsibility and do it themselves, really, so you would know, I don't know if you agree with that, but y'all can say yeah or no.
We agree, and we are doing that.
Give me something up here.
Well,
help me, y'all, help me.
Richard actually just started doing this, and I'll give, when everybody's done, I can give you an update on where we are.
Yeah.
But I don't want to interrupt.
The other thing I was going to mention is, there's a holding pond behind the lift station that's full of sand. And, it was, it's for stormwater in Woodlands neighborhood, so when it rains, the dirt supposedly goes there before it goes in the creek. But maybe you should think about building, in Mobile, these, the big oil holding tanks, they got a dirt berm around them, so if they ever leak, that catches most of the oil. But if you did a berm around this lift station or a holding pond, that if you did have this problem, then, maybe you'd catch it in there before it went in the creek, kind of thing, too. Just an idea. But there was one other thing, Jack, real quick.
I was going to address that.
No, you go ahead then.
I want Councilman Brown to address that, and it's a great idea, but explain, like you did earlier, about why those lift stations are located where they are, and unfortunately, very unfortunately, and it's not saying we can't do anything, I'm not making excuses.
It's 20 feet from the
why
creek.
they're located where they are.
Right.
It's 20 feet from the creek.
And Tom, I like your suggestion about the berm, and I look forward to talking to Elizabeth and some of these other people that have a lot more knowledge about, controlling this situation. And what I was talking to Jack about is these lift stations, unfortunately, are in the lowest part of each area for the gravity feed to get to, and then they pump from there. So, I was talking to Jack, I don't know what the options of moving, what the cost would be to move a lift station further up the hill where you could put a bigger detention area like you're talking about, where if it did overflow or during storms
Or if one failed, the other one could pick it up.
Right.
Kind of.
Well, and Dan or Richard, one of them was telling me that, lift stations have dual pumps in them. So if
Right.
one does fail, there's a backup.
Right.
It was just this one setup that unfortunately allowed this spill to happen.
Well, the other thing I was going to ask you, some of the lift stations have generators, and you would think that anything by the water, maybe we should think about putting generators on all of them. And if there was a generator on this one, when the power went off with a fuse, maybe the generator would
It
have
wouldn't
come
have
on.
helped with it. The way this lift station was set up, with the way it was designed.
Yeah.
The generator wouldn't have been notified to kick on.
But don't you think a generator would be a good idea when it's a lift station's by the water, though?
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think Richard can speak to this.
We spent
You don't want to,
$9,000
he's like,
on a-
I'm leaving now. And good night.
$90,000 on a water truck, you know, I mean, that's a lot of money, man. I don't know how much a generator costs, you know?
Everything from some permanent generators,
Yeah.
key locations to also portable generators.
Yeah.
You know, given that we can get there quickly, which we could have them there in half an hour. Richard? He's shaking his head, yes. We were talking about
What are we
purchasing
having in a
for-
half an hour?
Pardon?
What are we getting in a half an hour?
A generator.
Portable.
A portable generator?
Right.
Oh, no, I was talking about a permanent one, you know, that kicks on, you know, like
No,
they do at
I'm saying-
houses, you know, when the electricity goes off, they come on and keep everything running, especially for hurricanes, you know?
There's actually a lot to this, and we are, is it the 28th that you'll be talking about the study that we just got back? Yes, and we're going to go over all the things from, you know, from our pipes, sewer pipes, and lift stations. We got the study back just recently.
Yeah.
And we're going to go over all of that, including what we believe would be just to have a whole new sewer
Right.
plant away from the bay.
Yeah, well, you know, if a valve, you had a Y valve that closed when the lift station shut off, it would back up to Rock Creek subdivision and Publix and all that. You would get notified there was a problem, wouldn't you? I mean, you know, I mean, it's pouring in the creek, nobody knows, but if it was being backed up to everybody's house and neighborhoods and streets and, you know, I mean, in yards, it would, you know, we'd know it, you know, so. And it's happened to us. It's
Oh, it
in our
happens.
front
It
yard, you know?
happens.
I mean, the whole thing, but thank you for your time, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
I'm Brenda Shaw, I live at 300 Creek Drive, and they've all complained about the sewage spill, so I won't. But I would like to talk about the city work doing the bulkheads, redoing the city of Fairhope, where the shrimp boats are. A crew arrived there wearing no safety gear, hard hat, steel-toed shoes, and started pulling out pilings and moving earth around. They erected an orange construction fence, the kind with holes in it, and not a proper silt fence. I saw no permit signs or anything, hadn't seen anything, excuse me, anything in the newspaper. So I called the city to see who was doing the work, and nobody was able to tell me. And then I called ADEM, and then I called the Corps. And somebody finally came out, excuse me, and looked at the plans. So to add insult to injury, we had that spill, and those big buckets are scooping, bucket dredging out the creek, and putting all that dredged material on the land surface. So all of that's contaminated now, too. So what are you going to do about it? Is anybody overseeing that work there?
Who was working on the, do you know, Richard? Oh, sorry. This is,
Contractor for the bulkhead work?
yeah, the contractor for the bulkhead, who is working on that? Do you know? Okay. I know Lance, was Lance out there? Okay. Lance, yes, that's what, I mean, I know that he gave me an update, but this was something about the,
Finished with the bulkhead repair work that's on the north side of the project. We're looking at the area where the fuel dock is now, because some of the bulkhead work that was existing has somewhat failed, and there's some undermining of the concrete that supports the fuel pump, so we're kind of on hold looking for options to try to wrap around the fuel island and secure all of that work. But in the process of doing all this due diligence work, it looks like the boat lift itself is almost as deteriorated as the material is that's outside of it. So I think we're going to wind up looking to have somebody investigate the integrity of that
for safety issues,
unit for safety.
the boat lift.
So I'm not sure where the buckets were you were talking about and what the issue was with that.
The digging is slipped on the north end.
And piling the dredge material just on the ground surface.
Upland, right? They're that's right, upland.
Right, but realize that's in a sensitive wetland area, and I'm not sure that the silt fencing is being inspected daily. Judging by the work practices that I see, OSHA would shut them down. Seriously.
Yeah, and I have
Please
to-
do.
Yes, ma'am.
Please do. Those are unsafe work practices, and now it's unsafe in terms of health. There's contaminated soil that's piled up there that when it rains, which it does every day, is going right back into the creek. So this 330,000 gallons or whatever it is washes out. There's a pile of contaminated soil that's going to continue contaminating the creek. There just has to be a better way to look at this and a better way to plan it and to coordinate all these activities. The creek has really taken a beating this summer. Now, I live on it. I'm there every day. Tom is. Melissa's business is on it. She had to shut her business down. It's been closed for a week. 17 turtles. I didn't hear about it till 4 days after the event. You have to do a better job of notifying people.
Jack, can I address her?
Thank you.
Quickly, we need,
The plan is that we'll let that dry a little bit, and then the city is going to scoop it up and put it in their brand-new dump truck and haul it to the landfill here. So, it's not going to be staying there. So
Okay.
all that'll be scooped up and hauled off, so that's the.
But I can say that the communication that we're doing is, we're going to do more and more, but we're doing more than we ever have as far as communication. I don't think there was ever a post on Facebook. We're putting in for a communication person that I hope will not be cut from this year's budget, but that will be their responsibility is to get everything out that citizens need to know about, because we don't have that person right now in the city. So we all kind of take turns keeping up with it, but those are all the things that I want for the citizens, is to make sure that you are contacted immediately when things like this happen. But ultimately, as far as being proactive, that's exactly what we're doing right now. I was very adamant about having a sewer, having the whole sewer and water system looked at and evaluated, and we have that now, and we're going to go over it on the 28th. It's definitely not good news, and there's going to be a lot of infrastructure needs, and I feared that, and we're going to talk about it. I absolutely believe that we have to look long-term on ways to get the plant away from the bay. It just does not make sense. I know that we would be one, Daphne, Spanish Fort, Mobile, everybody dumps into the bay, but I think we need to be the first city that tries to stop that. So we're absolutely being proactive as far as doing what we need to do. The study was a month after I took office is when I tried to order it, and we're just now getting it back. So
Can you check on installing additional silt fencing on the creek side of those piles as they dry?
yeah, I've been
That
taking
would be
notes. as
best
they've all
management
been-
practices. Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I also would like to mention that, Tom, we talked about security, there are security cameras down at that lift station with motion detector light that were installed after the thing. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I hear you now. What'd you say?
I'm sorry. I said there is a security camera installed at that lift station with motion detector lights there, and it was installed after the station was vandalized.
Okay, I didn't know it was there, but that's good. But I still think you need to fence this barbed wire.
Maybe electric.
Yeah, this is toxic stuff, man. When it goes to the street, man.
All right, anyone else? Okay, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Do I have a second? Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay. Thank you, we're adjourned.